Somewhere beneath the surface of a Venezuelan swamp, something waits. It has been motionless for hours, perhaps days. Its eyes and nostrils sit just above the waterline, scanning the shore. A capybara approaches the edge to drink. It does not know that the largest snake in the world is watching. The green anaconda, a creature so massive that early explorers refused to believe reports of its size. Females can exceed 20 feet in length and weigh over 250 pounds. Some documented specimens have reached nearly 30 feet. They are not the longest snakes on Earth. That title belongs to the reticulated python. But when it comes to sheer mass, nothing compares. The anaconda is built like a living hydraulic press wrapped in olive green scales. This is the flooded grasslands of the Venezuelan Llanos. During the wet season, vast stretches of savanna disappear underwater, creating a labyrinth of marshes, shallow lagoons, and slow-moving rivers. It is perfect anaconda territory. These snakes are semi-aquatic specialists. They spend roughly 86% of their time in water or at the water's edge. Their eyes and nostrils are positioned on top of their heads for a reason. It allows them to remain almost completely submerged while still breathing and watching for prey. On land, their massive bulk makes them clumsy and slow. In water, they transform into something else entirely. Silent, efficient, lethal. The capybara continues drinking. It is the largest rodent on Earth, weighing up to 140 pounds, a formidable animal by any standard. But the anaconda has been tracking its movement through vibrations in the water. These snakes possess specialized receptors that detect pressure changes. They can sense an approaching animal long before they see it. And then it happens. The strike is explosive. Contrary to what many believe, anacondas can move with devastating speed when attacking. The snake lunges from the water, its curved teeth sinking into flesh. Those teeth are not designed to kill. They are designed to grip. 6 rows of needle-like structures angle backward, preventing prey from pulling free. The moment those teeth connect, the real weapon deploys. The anaconda's body coils around the capybara with mechanical precision. 1 loop, then 2. The rodent thrashes violently. Its teeth are formidable. Capybaras have been documented inflicting serious wounds on attacking anacondas. Some of those injuries prove fatal for the snake. This is the paradox of being a constrictor. Every meal is a calculated risk. For decades, scientists believed that constrictors killed through suffocation. The assumption seemed logical. Squeeze tight enough, and the prey cannot breathe. But research published in the Journal of Experimental Biology revealed something far more efficient. When a boa constrictor or anaconda tightens its coils, it does not simply restrict breathing. It induces circulatory arrest. The pressure overwhelms the cardiovascular system. Arterial pressure plummets. Venous pressure spikes. The heart cannot generate enough force to pump blood against that external compression. Within seconds, the prey loses consciousness. Death follows rapidly. This is not a slow suffocation. It is a cardiovascular shutdown. The capybara stops struggling. The anaconda maintains its grip for several more minutes, monitoring the heartbeat through sensory receptors in its body. Only when it detects complete cardiac arrest does it begin to relax. Now comes the second challenge: swallowing. The anaconda's skull is a marvel of evolutionary engineering. Unlike most vertebrates, its jawbones are loosely connected by flexible ligaments rather than fused joints. The 2 halves of the lower jaw can separate entirely. This allows the snake to engulf prey far wider than its own head. A specialized windpipe in its mouth permits breathing during the swallowing process, which can take 6 to 8 hours for a meal this size. The snake works the capybara down head first. Its body stretches grotesquely around the massive rodent. When finished, the anaconda's midsection bulges to nearly triple its normal diameter. For the next several days, perhaps weeks, the snake will remain largely motionless. Digestion requires enormous metabolic resources. A single large meal can sustain an adult anaconda for weeks or even months. But the risks of this lifestyle extend beyond the hunt itself. Deep in the flooded Llanos, researchers conducting field studies have documented something that challenges the anaconda's reputation as an invincible apex predator. These snakes face genuine threats. Jaguars have been photographed killing and consuming anacondas. Black caimans, the massive crocodilians that share these waters, will prey on smaller individuals. Even spectacled caimans have been recorded attacking juvenile anacondas. The relationship between anacondas and caimans is particularly complex. Each species can be both predator and prey depending on relative size. A large female anaconda will readily take adult caimans, but the reverse is also true. During a long-term field study in Venezuela, researchers captured over 900 individual green anacondas. The data revealed patterns that contradict popular mythology. Smaller anacondas, particularly males and juveniles, are significantly more aggressive than their larger counterparts. They bite frequently when handled. They strike readily when disturbed. This behavior makes evolutionary sense. Smaller individuals are more vulnerable to predation. Aggression is their primary defense. Large females, by contrast, often remain surprisingly calm during capture. Their size is their protection. The study also documented something remarkable about defensive behavior. When threatened and unable to escape, anacondas will sometimes coil into a tight ball. This protects the vulnerable head while maintaining the ability to strike if necessary. If an attacker persists, the snake may release a foul-smelling musk from glands near its cloaca. This chemical deterrent is potent enough to discourage most predators. But perhaps the most fascinating behaviors occur during breeding season. The dry season arrives in the Llanos. Water bodies shrink. Anacondas that were scattered across vast territories now concentrate around a few remaining permanent pools and mud holes. Researchers have documented up to 34 individual anacondas clustered in an area just 10 by 20 meters. This forced proximity sets the stage for one of nature's most unusual mating rituals. Female anacondas lay down chemical trails as breeding season approaches. Males detect these pheromones through specialized receptors on their tongues. They follow the scent, sometimes traveling considerable distances. When multiple males locate the same female, something extraordinary happens. They do not fight for dominance in any conventional sense. Instead, they form what scientists call a breeding ball. Up to 13 males have been documented simultaneously coiling around a single female. They wrap their bodies together in a writhing mass of scales and muscle. This congregation can remain entwined for an average of 18 days. Some breeding balls have persisted for over 6 weeks. During this time, the males compete through a process resembling slow-motion wrestling. Each male attempts to position his body closest to the female's cloaca. The larger, stronger males typically succeed, but females appear to exercise choice in the process. Despite being vastly outsized by their potential mates, male anacondas face another danger entirely. Females sometimes cannibalize males after mating. This behavior seems counterintuitive until you consider the female's biological reality. After mating, she will not eat again for approximately 7 months. The eggs develop inside her body throughout this period. She needs substantial energy reserves. A nearby male, exhausted from weeks of competitive mating, represents an easy meal. The female will incubate her developing clutch, eventually giving birth to live young. Litter sizes correlate with female body size. Smaller females produce 8 to 15 offspring. The largest documented litter contained 82 neonates. Those newborn anacondas, measuring roughly 2 feet in length, enter a world of extreme danger. They are prey for caimans, herons, and larger snakes. Their survival rate is low. Those that survive will grow slowly. Females may not reach breeding size until they exceed 7 feet in length. At that point, they begin their transformation into apex predators. But the journey is long, and most will not complete it. What happens when these massive constrictors encounter humans? Field researchers working in anaconda habitat have experienced predatory approaches on 2 documented occasions. In the first incident, a female anaconda struck at a researcher walking through shallow, vegetated water. The snake bit her pants, which tore. It struck again, higher this time. The researcher escaped unharmed, but the nature of the attack suggested predatory intent rather than defense. The snake had not been stepped on or cornered. It appeared to have selected the human as potential prey. In the second incident, an anaconda surfaced behind a researcher walking among floating vegetation. The snake followed for several feet while tongue-flicking, behavior consistent with prey assessment. A colleague grabbed the animal as it struck, causing it to miss its target. The stalking aspect of this encounter further suggests predation rather than defense. Despite these documented cases, anaconda attacks on humans remain extraordinarily rare. The snakes inhabit remote areas with sparse human populations. Their typical prey does not include primates. When encounters occur, anacondas usually flee rather than confront. The handful of documented attacks appear opportunistic rather than habitual. Still, the biological reality is clear. Large female anacondas are physically capable of killing and consuming adult humans. The prey-to-predator size ratio falls within parameters observed for other documented kills. The anaconda's ecological role extends beyond individual predation events. In the Venezuelan Llanos, researchers discovered that anaconda breeding rates are directly influenced by capybara populations. When capybara numbers decline, fewer female anacondas reproduce in a given year. This relationship illustrates the interconnected nature of tropical ecosystems. Remove or reduce one species, and ripple effects propagate through the food web. Anacondas help regulate populations of capybaras, caimans, deer, and numerous other species. They are a keystone component of their ecosystem, but human activity increasingly threatens these animals. Local residents often kill anacondas on sight. Fear drives much of this persecution. Myths and exaggerated stories paint anacondas as monstrous man-eaters lurking in every waterway. The reality is far more nuanced, but nuance rarely overrides instinct when a 15-foot snake appears near a village. Anacondas are also hunted for their skin, which has commercial value. Their fat is extracted for use in traditional medicine. Habitat destruction compounds these pressures. Hydroelectric dams alter water flow patterns. Oil drilling degrades wetland ecosystems. Climate change affects the seasonal flooding cycles that anacondas depend upon, yet the species persists. Green anacondas remain relatively common throughout much of their range. Their adaptability serves them well. They can survive extended dry periods buried in mud. They exploit a wide variety of prey species. Their reproductive output, while requiring substantial individual investment, produces enough offspring to maintain populations despite mortality rates. As the wet season returns to the Llanos, the flooded grasslands once again fill with water. Anacondas disperse from their dry season concentrations. Somewhere in the shallows, a female positions herself near a game trail. Her dark olive coloring blends perfectly with the aquatic vegetation. Only her eyes and nostrils break the surface. She can remain in this position for hours, days, however long it takes. A white-tailed deer approaches the water's edge. It has traveled this route many times before. The vegetation looks exactly as it always has. Just murky water and floating plants. The deer lowers its head to drink. The anaconda's muscles tense beneath the surface. Millions of years of evolution have shaped this moment. The ambush predator waits for the ambush. No wasted energy. No unnecessary movement. Just perfect patience and explosive power held in reserve until the precise instant arrives. This is how the anaconda has survived since the Pleistocene. Not through speed, not through venom, through efficiency, through strategy, through the ability to lie motionless in water that looks empty, waiting for prey that does not know death is already watching. The deer continues drinking. The anaconda continues waiting. In the flooded grasslands of South America, this scene plays out every day. It has played out for millions of years. The largest snake in the world does not need to chase its prey. It simply needs to be in the right place, at the right time, with the patience to wait and the power to strike. The apex predator of the Amazon asks nothing more from the universe than an opportunity. And the universe eventually always provides one.